While shopping with my daughter, I ran into Liam from the Grant family. He looked at the tiny girl beside me and sneered. Huh. Your husband's genes must be terrible. The brat's ugly. Not cute at all. I blurted out. Are you insane? Talking about yourself like that? Hilarious. Liam immediately cornered me against a wall, eyes blazing red. What did you say? Repeat that. Me? Eve. This is Liam. My boyfriend. Olivia clung to her boyfriend's arm, blending shyness with intimacy. Under the table, Olivia kicked my foot. I gave her a discreet okay sign. Being Olivia's wingwoman was my specialty. Putting on my sweetest smile, I declared without hesitation, nice to meet you. This is actually the 10th time she's brought a boyfriend here. Olivia's smile froze. She forced a laugh. Correcting. She means first time. First time. Nodding. I added. No. Definitely the 10th time. All three of us fell into awkward silence. Olivia stared at me like I'd grown a second head, simultaneously feeding her boyfriend a bite of cake. Trying to recover. My brain screamed, haven't seen Olivia this considerate before, but my mouth betrayed me. Olivia's always this sweet with every boyfriend. Beneath her polite smile, Olivia started violently kicking my shins under the table. I instantly decoded her message, shut up before I murder you. That's when I realized something was wrong. As the smooth-tongued villainess who could talk her way through any situation, why couldn't I control my mouth? Eve. That verbal slip almost destroyed Olivia's relationship. To stop further damage, I checked my watch. Excuse me. Emma must be hungry. I need to go. Olivia's boyfriend stared as I left, muttering, your friends, abstract. Is she always like that? Olivia sighed. No. She's actually serious. Returning home, I found Emma's usual welcoming routine missing. Normally, my pink-cheeked munchkin would come barreling into my arms, showering me with kisses and melting my heart with her mommy. Chorus. Emma? Where are you? Mommy brought your favorite ice cream cake. Silence. Pushing open her bedroom door, I found my little girl curled on the floor clutching her blankie. My chest tightened. Emma. Get up. The floor's cold. Did someone bully you? Who dares mess with my baby? I'll skin them alive. Emma's tear-filled eyes met mine. She shook her head stubbornly, but collapsed into sobs against my chest. Mommy. Do I really have no daddy? All the kids laugh at me. Wiping her tears, I sighed. Since when did single-parent families become illegal here? Emma looked up earnestly. Mommy. Is my daddy dead? Mom. Don't worry. I can handle it. My brain raced, trying to use my wit to fabricate a beautiful lie. But my mouth betrayed me again. Your dad isn't dead. He's alive and kicking. Emma asked nonchalantly. Mom. This time are you going to say he's a tadpole or a monkey? Was this how I usually brushed off my daughter? I shook my head, glancing absently at the TV. A face so devastatingly handsome it defied reason suddenly appeared on the financial news channel. The host fawned. Today we're honored to have the CEO of Crescent Tech, Mr. Liam Grant. Let's give him a warm welcome. During the pre-interview gossip segment, the host asked, You've been voted Manhattan's most eligible bachelor top 1. Any comments? The man calmly surveyed the camera. Unflappable. He smirked. Thank you for your admiration. But let me remind everyone to stay grounded. Don't fantasize about shortcuts to success. The fall would be spectacular. His roguish charm clashed yet harmonized with aristocratic arrogance. Every word laced with veiled threats. Mom. This uncle looks really dangerous. Dangerous? This dangerous bastard is your biological father. Holy shit! Did I just blurt out the secret I'd kept for 3.5 years? Emma blinked, staring at the TV then back at me. She stood on tiptoe, pressing a tiny hand to my forehead. Mom, are you his fangirl too? Sweetheart, your mother definitely isn't his fangirl. Years ago, I transmigrated into a CEO romance novel. Somehow went from extra to villainous. The cooker usurper, spoiled fake heiress. Gold-digging opportunist. The roadblock to the main couple's romance. Played my role as antagonist with dedication, knowing the plot in advance. I tracked down Liam before he became the Grant family heir. Back then, he was the campus ice prince. Cold and poor. I pursued him with outrageous boldness. Shadowed him daily. Flexing my trust fund. Paid 4 years tuition plus loaded $1 million into his campus account. Not my money anyway, spent it without guilt. People joked Liam had bagged a sugar mama. But Liam remained unmoved. Working part-time to repay me. Never touched that campus money. So I switched tactics, genuine affection. Religiously delivered Gatorade. Lunch boxes. Midnight snacks. One freezing night with chestnuts steaming in my arms outside his dorm. Snow began falling. When Liam returned from his shift, my nose and ears were cherry red. His expression unreadable. He stared at me. What's your angle? I offered the chestnuts. Whispering by his ear, you. Now it was Liam's turn to blush furiously. I lured this unattainable flower to fall. Petal by petal. My mission progress skyrocketed. Until the day I coaxed teetotaler Liam to drink. In the cramped rental apartment, he devoured me completely. The usually aloof and restrained man gripped my waist, taking me again and again. In the darkness, his ragged breath brushed against my ear as he hoarsely whispered my name. His deep eyes burned with primal desire and overwhelming affection, making me afraid to meet his gaze. Liam cradled me protectively in his arms like precious treasure, unaware that my mission was complete and I'd soon disappear, trampling his vulnerable heart beneath my heels. After that night, I unilaterally broke up with Liam. I blocked all his contacts and agreed to marry some spoiled rich heir. He completely lost it, searching for me like a madman. When he finally found me, I didn't even glance up from where I lounged in a male model's embrace. Why? He demanded, eyes bloodshot. I shrugged carelessly. Do I need reasons? I got bored. My gaze swept over his faded work clothes as I sneered. Cinderella's pumpkin carriage has turned back into a pumpkin. Did you really think you could cling to me forever? Disgusting. That was the first time I saw Liam cry. And the first time I learned how words could become curses. After dumping Liam, Sophia returned, reclaiming everything that should have been hers. This imposter's pumpkin carriage had indeed vanished. My stomach growled as I tried ordering takeout after comforting Emma. Interrupted by Dan's call, my studio partner. Eve, are you home? Tomorrow's Children's Day. I want to treat you and Emma to dinner. Before I could respond, Emma chirped. Uncle Dan, you're the best. I want seafood. My dear daughter never stood on ceremony. Dan chuckled. Seafood it is then. Come down, my car's waiting. In the car, Emma chattered excitedly with Dan like they were father and daughter. Uncle Dan, do you have a girlfriend? She suddenly asked. I desperately tried shoving chocolate into her mouth as Dan smiled. Want to set me up? Emma nodded solemnly. How about my mom? I nearly choked. Kids say the darndest things. I covered her mouth. She pouted. If you won't find me a dad, I have to help. Heaven knows where she got that mouth from. We arrived at a 5-star hotel in Harbor City where I'd frequently dined as the Johnson family's heiress. Now the astronomical prices here mocked my reality as a single mother entrepreneur. My thrift store clothes clashed painfully with the opulent decor. No one would ever connect the poised woman before them to the once arrogant Eve. The waitstaff kept glancing at me, clearly recognizing my face. I averted my gaze awkwardly, silently blaming Dan. If he'd told me we were coming to a place like this, I would have dug out my vintage evening gown. Emma squeezed my hand comfortingly. Don't worry, Mom. Just act natural. The audacity. Dan had urgent business, leaving us to order first. Perhaps fearing I'd be too frugal, he'd insisted, order whatever you want. So domineering, yet so touching. Just like my former self. I led Emma into the elevator out of habit, only belatedly realizing it was reserved for VIP patrons. The atmosphere turned glacial. Emma clutched my hand tighter, whispering tremulously, Mom, why is that man staring at you? I looked up into piercing hazel eyes framed by those familiar cruel lashes. Liam. Our gazes locked. For a heartbeat. His cold mask slipped before he looked away. Expressionless. The utter indifference in those dark eyes felt like shards of glass in my chest. Emma's grip became vice-like. Mom. The whimper made Liam lazily lift his eyelids. His gaze swept over me before landing on the tiny girl at my side. Your husband's jeans are trash. He drawled, venom dripping from every syllable. Kid's ugly. Not cute at all. I blurted without thinking, who talks about themselves like that? Pathetic. The words hung in the air. I could have bitten off my tongue. What was wrong with me today? Liam's head snapped up. Pale fingers clenched. Crimson flooding the whites of his eyes as he stared through me. What did you say? Silence so thick I heard my own frantic heartbeat. What did you say? The words rasped from his chest, vibrating with barely contained fury. Emma looked between us, round eyes brimming with confusion. Liam advanced like a stalking panther, forcing me back against the cold metal until my spine met the elevator wall. Say it again. His gaze bored into mine, demanding, devouring. I couldn't breathe. Liam? What are you doing here? A honeyed voice shattered the tension. A woman appeared beyond the elevator doors, her smile sweet enough to rot teeth. I let out a long breath, feeling like I'd grabbed a lifeline. Liam whirled around, his expression darkening when he saw who had arrived. Sophia stood there in a white sundress, looking as pure and delicate as a gardenia. What are you doing here? Liam's tone carried impatience. Sophia's smile faltered momentarily when she noticed even Emma. But she quickly recovered. I came to find you, she chirped, linking her arm through his in a possessive gesture. Can't your fiancé check on your business meetings? The word fiancé reverberated in my skull. So, the plot was progressing exactly as written. They were engaged now. We're done here. Liam detached himself from her grip, his voice icy. Sophia's perfect smile froze, but she obediently trailed after him. Before leaving, she shot Eve and Emma a triumphant glance, the corner of her mouth curling in smug satisfaction. I watched their retreating figures with a lump in my throat. Mommy, who was that lady? Emma tugged my sleeve, her curious eyes wide. Kneeling to her eye level. I hesitated. The truth spilled out before I could stop it. She's this world's female lead, the heiress of Johnson Enterprises. The elevator doors closed, severing our worlds. After a long pause, Emma's small hand slipped into mine. Mommy, that lady's name sounds like yours. I nodded, an unexpected ache blooming in my chest. More than just similar names. Emma scrunched her nose adorably. What's a female lead? It's the luckiest girl in the story. The one everyone loves. Wow. Her eyes sparkled. Is Mommy the female lead too? Do boys like you lots? My awkward chuckle died when the elevator pinged open. Evelyn Johnson. My head snapped up. Liam stood there, his stormy eyes burning into me. How? He'd left with Sophia minutes ago. What are you? Is she mine? The raw urgency in his voice startled me. Tell me the truth, is Emma my daughter? I backed against the wall, his intensity overwhelming. His trembling hands caged me against the corner. Our breaths mingling. The confession hovered on my lips. One word would change everything. Yes. Eve. A warm male voice called from behind, tinged with confusion and delight. I whirled around to see a familiar face, Daniel Brown. Liam clearly recognized him too, his brow furrowing slightly. My daughter, Emma, seemed to sense something. She suddenly broke free from my grip and dashed toward Daniel, wrapping her arms around his leg. Daddy, she chirped in a tiny voice. I froze. That single word, Daddy, detonated like a bomb in the cramped elevator, the aftershock ringing in my ears. Daniel stared down at the little girl clinging to him, disbelief flashing across his features. Daddy? He repeated hoarsely, the word catching in his throat. Emma looked up with round, hopeful eyes. Daddy, you finally came to get us. He bent down and swept her into his arms, holding her tightly against his tailored suit. This was bad. Liam's face turned stormy, his gaze drilling into Emma's small form as if trying to unravel cosmic secrets. Eve. His words came out sharp enough to cut glass. Are you having fun toying with me? Daniel shifted to shield me, his polite smile never wavering. Mr. Grant. My wife and I have matters to attend to. You'll excuse us. Before Liam could react, we were already walking away with Emma between us. The restaurant table groaned under elaborate dishes, but my stomach remained in knots. Emma tugged my sleeve. Mommy, did I make you sad? I forced a smile. Never. Sweetheart. Mommy's happiest when she's with you. Hesitating, I added, why did you call Mr. Brown Daddy earlier? She studied her sparkly shoes. That mean man looked like the scary people on TV. I didn't want him to make you cry again. My breath hitched. This tiny human with cookie crumbs on her dress understood more than I'd realized. You okay? Daniel's concerned murmur broke through my thoughts. I nodded. Thank you for earlier. I hope this doesn't complicate things for you. Complicate? His chuckle sounded strained. If I really had a wife as brilliant as you and a daughter as wonderful as Emma, I'd be the luckiest man alive. The sudden weight in his words made the air between us thrum with tension. Emma's curious gaze darted between us until Daniel cleared his throat, producing an embossed card. Eve, there's a charity gala next week. Would you? He hesitated, uncharacteristically uncertain. Would you accompany me? The night arrived in a swirl of champagne flutes and piano chords. Daniel's arm felt steady beneath my gloved hand as we entered the ballroom, though my own knees trembled. The Johnson family's absence from these glittering circles stretched back years since I'd walked away from that life. 100 eyes tracked our progress, their whispers slithering against my exposed shoulders like cold silk. Relax, Daniel murmured, his breath warm near my ear. I've got you. His thumb brushed my wrist where it rested on his arm, the gesture somehow both proper and intimate. For the first time that evening, I believed the act we were about to perform. I gave Dan a grateful look, trying to appear natural. Soon enough, Dan became occupied with socializing and left me to myself. Someone approached curiously. This is the first time we've seen Mr. Brown bring a female companion to these events. Which family's heiress might you be? Another person recognized me. That's Eve, isn't it? The imposter who stole Sophia's life. Weren't you already kicked out of the Johnson family? How dare you show your face here? Whispers swirled around me like vultures. Look who's here. The Johnson family's counterfeit heiress. A shrill voice sneered from behind. I didn't need to turn around to know it was Jessica Zhao, always hostile toward me since Sophia's return. My fingers tightened around the champagne flute. Breathe. Don't engage. Some people have no shame. Another voice chimed in. Stealing 18 years of someone's life and still parading around like they belong. The barbed words, though spoken softly, carried through the crowd. Dozens of eyes turned toward me, scornful, judgmental, gloating. They weren't wrong. Even in this transmigrated reality, I'd indeed stolen Sophia's rightful existence. Heat flooded my cheeks as humiliation threatened to drown me. Please don't speak that way. Sophia's honeyed voice intervened. She stood radiant in champagne silk, her porcelain skin glowing, every inch the wronged heroine to my disheveled antagonist. Eve didn't mean any harm. She made mistakes before, but she's changed now. Let's not dwell on the past. Her eyelashes fluttered, crystalline tears welling up. Each gentle word pierced deeper than any insult. Sophia, your kindness is why she kept exploiting you all these years. Jessica retorted. The crowd's murmurs crescendoed into a roaring tide. My nails bit into my palms. The old Eve would have fought back, but survival instincts prevailed. My fledgling design studio, Emma's preschool tuition, mounting bills, I couldn't afford pride here. Some creatures are born wicked. Jessica sneered. No amount of pretending can hide their rotten cores. Enough. Liam's voice cut through the din like winter steel. The crowd parted as he approached, his stormcloud gaze sweeping over Sophia's clique. Someone dared protest. Mr. Grant, how can you let this fraud bully Sophia? Liam? Sophia paled. Weren't you supposed to be in New York? Ignoring her, Liam stopped before me. His glacial stare shifted to Sophia and her entourage. What? He enunciated slowly. Were you saying? Mr. Grant. We. Sophia's friends were startled by his imposing presence. Stammering incoherently. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Liam sneered. Weren't you all so eager to criticize earlier? Liam. Please don't be angry. We were just. Sophia attempted to explain. Liam coldly cut her off. Just flexing your privilege? Enjoying bullying others? Sophia's face flushed with humiliation. She bit her lip, eyes brimming with tears. I didn't mean. Liam mercilessly exposed her. Is this the poise expected of Sophia, the heiress of the Johnson family? I refuse to marry someone arrogant and unreasonable. The crowd exchanged uneasy glances, none daring to offend Liam. His eyes swept across the room before lingering almost imperceptibly on me. I'm terminating my engagement with Miss Miller. I never expected Liam to defend me. Never imagined he'd publicly sever ties with Sophia. The plot was unraveling, each thread snapping with terrifying clarity. My chest tightened painfully if the storyline collapsed. What became of my struggles? My sacrifices? After briefly greeting Dan, who had hurried over, I retreated to the rooftop. Cold night air stung my lungs as I gripped the railing. Eve. I didn't need to turn around. Moonlight haloed Liam's sharp features as he approached. Since when do you take insults lying down? Where's that razor tongue of yours? I met his gaze silently, gratitude swelling in my throat. He looked away first, jaw clenched. Thank you. This is Grant family property. I won't tolerate incidents. His voice roughened. Does he treat you well? It took me a moment to realize he meant Dan. Dan's been wonderful. Moonlight carved shadows under Liam's eyes. How old's the child? 3. A bitter chuckle escaped him. So you had a baby right after we. He trailed off, sudden intensity freezing me in place. Do you love him? Liam Grant's voice was soft. I froze. Who? Stop playing dumb. Liam's tone carried a barely detectable anger. The child's father, do you love him? I answered without hesitation. Yes. Goddamn system. It went offline and played dead when I was under attack earlier. But now it suddenly comes back to life. I bit my tongue hard, barely stopping the words I love the child's father from spilling out. Liam's expression darkened further, his voice turning colder. What do you love about him? Does love need a reason? I retorted. Love doesn't seem to require any justification. To love is to love. Just like how I felt about Liam. Maybe it started as plot-driven necessity. But every minute spent with him afterward, I could clearly feel my own heartbeat, the most vivid proof of my existence in this world. He didn't answer. His gaze dimmed, as if struggling to conceal the turbulence beneath. Eve, since you love him, stop provoking me. He gave a faint, humorless smile. I can't afford jokes. After that day, Liam vanished completely from my world. Once, I was the lofty heiress of the Johnson family. He was the down-and-out young master the Grant family hadn't yet reclaimed. Now, our positions were reversed. Everything that happened before felt like a grand, absurdly beautiful dream. I was Cinderella after the pumpkin carriage expired. We became two people separated by heaven and earth. Life went on. The torrent of time pushed everyone forward. Stripped of the system's halo, the villainous supporting character was just an ordinary person. My second date with Dan was at a lakeside restaurant. The venue offered panoramic views of the city's glittering lights. We sat facing each other under warm lighting. An exquisite white linen cloth draped over the table. The flickering candle between us cast dancing shadows. A candlelit dinner? The desserts here are exceptional. Care to try some? Dan offered the menu courteously. I accepted it without appetite. Noticing the bouquet of roses he'd concealed by his side, I steadied myself. Mr. Brown. My fingers tightened on the linen. There's something I need to clarify. He crossed his legs elegantly. I'm in love with someone else. It's Liam, isn't it? He smiled gently, cutting straight to the truth. My nod made the candlelight blur. I thought after all this time, you'd moved on, Dan said, his lips quirking. I thought I had too. But I can't lie to myself. Is that so? Liam fell silent for a moment, taking a sip of coffee. I actually figured it out long ago. I'm sorry. I bit my lip, overwhelmed with guilt. Don't apologize. He set down the cup, his gaze sincere. Feelings can't be forced. I also need to apologize about the banquet incident. It was my fault for being too busy socializing and failing to protect you from that humiliating situation. That wasn't your fault, I said. Still, I want to thank you. My nose stung. Thank you for always taking care of me and Emma. Between us, such formalities aren't necessary. His smile held traces of bitterness. We sat in heavy silence. Suddenly, sparks ignited the dead sky as fireworks erupted, illuminating the night like daylight. Someone exclaimed, "Is today a holiday? Why the sudden fireworks? Don't you know? The future head of the Grant family is getting engaged to the Johnson family heiress Sophia." My God. Typical Grant family extravagance. The murmurs drowned in explosive colors. I stared at the ascending brilliance. Inexplicable emptiness swelling in my chest. I remembered that night 4 years ago. When the Ferris wheel reached its peak, tension thickened the enclosed cabin. Rising on tiptoes, I kissed Liam's cold lips. New Year's bells chimed as fireworks bloomed behind us. "Happy New Year!" I told Liam. He seemed stunned by the sudden kiss. Smiling, I said, "I want you to remember me, remember this kiss every time you see fireworks." Of course. It'd be best if you watched every firework display with me. That same night, news of the Grant-Johnson alliance marriage swept through the city. Host. Congratulations on completing your mission. The long-vanished system suddenly reactivated, its mechanical voice oddly cheerful. What? I blinked, wondering if I hallucinated. My original system had gone dormant after completing the storyline 4 years ago. Even the recently bound truth-telling system had remained silent. Host has finished re-traumatizing the male lead. The system will now correct the plot to resolve misunderstandings between protagonists. ensuring their eternal love. Wait! Finally comprehending. I demanded. You mean Liam and Sophia will? What about the truth-telling system forced on me? Was that just plot manipulation too? Affirmative. The voice remained flat. It was a bug now fixed. My heart plummeted. Though the wretched system made me utter terrible truths, it was also why Liam and I, two parallel lines never meant to intersect, found fleeting connection. At least I could still see him openly. Host may choose to leave this world. The system prompted. Your countdown here has begun. Leave? You mean return to my original world? Affirmative. Sudden disorientation gripped me. I've lived in this world for over 2 decades and have grown deeply attached to it. Here are my friends, my career, and my daughter. If I leave, what will happen to Emma? Host. The system seemed to sense my hesitation. You're merely a transient in this world. Your departure won't affect anything here. But, the system interrupted, to compensate for the system error. Emma may accompany you. I fell silent. If Emma could come with me, perhaps there was no reason to stay. The night before departure, I arranged a farewell dinner with Olivia. She's my closest friend here. Why the sudden free time to meet? She asked, swirling her wine glass. I forced a smile. I might be leaving for a while. This is goodbye. She showed no surprise. How long this time? After breaking up with Liam, I'd been expelled from the Johnson family. Following plot conventions, I'd spent 3 years in America until Emma turned 2 before returning. Not sure. Could be years. Olivia filled my glass. Sighing. Raising a child alone must be tough. Have you considered telling her father? He's not that poor boy anymore. I shook my head. I chose to have Emma. It's got nothing to do with him. Besides, he probably hates me. Olivia chuckled bitterly. People call you arrogant and materialistic. But you're just foolish. I clung to her and wept. Alcohol lowering my inhibitions. Maybe I needed this final indulgence. Olivia called me a rideshare. Sure you don't want me to take you home? She worried. I'm fine. I slurred. Attempting sobriety. Text me when you arrive. She insisted. One last hug? As Olivia embraced me, sudden vertigo hit. Alcohol blurred my vision when a familiar baritone spoke near my ear. How did you get this drunk? Olivia. I whimpered. Tears overflowing. Why must I be the villainess? I'm not that evil. I never hurt anyone. Everyone I bullied per the plot got apology cakes. I never mistreated Sophia either. I secretly sent her half my allowance every month. How is that bullying? Why does everyone hate me? Sobs racked my body. Isn't it cruel to give me everything just to take it all away? Olivia stiffened but remained silent, carrying me to the waiting car. Nestled against her familiar scent, my heart ached. This fragrance, it smelled exactly like Liam's. I wailed louder, that bastard Liam. You can't recognize our daughter. Fine. But how dare you say she's ugly? He's the ugly one. He's the ugliest. The voice across softly soothed me, yes. He's the ugliest. Midnight. I awoke in groggy confusion. The room lay bathed in faint shadows. Only a sliver of moonlight slipping through the curtains. This wasn't my bedroom. My heartbeat stuttered. Residual drunkenness evaporating instantly. Eve, you're awake. The man rose from the windowsill, his gaze slowly pinning me. Liam? I ventured. Why am I at your place? Dark currents swirled in his eyes. Suddenly, I was pressed into the mattress by unyielding force. Perhaps hearing my whimper of pain, his movements gentled. Moonlight outlined his form dominating my vision, commandeering every thought. Eve. The rasp scraped my nerves raw. Do you have any idea how desperately I've wanted to kiss you? My mind blanked. His presence felt like lingering dreamscape nightmares haunting twilight consciousness. But you're engaged to Sophia. We can't do this. I never intended to marry her. Liam handed me an ivory invitation. Look closely at the names. My fingers trembled opening the parchment. Groom, Liam Grant. Bride, Evelyn Johnson. His stare burned through me, after making promises to you. How could I want anyone else? Did you think of me when those fireworks lit the sky? At first I believed you'd mastered the art of deception. But turns out you still can't lie. My breath hitched. He shifted, looming over me, eyes devouring every shadowed contour. Yet the violent kiss I anticipated never came. Why didn't you tell me about our daughter? Why vanish for 4 years without contact? Liam. His lips trembled when I spoke his name. I'm not your destined heroine. Just a villainess sent to ensnare you. Believe it or not. I'm bound to a system. My mission was to make you love me. Then break you. Emma was an unforeseen variable. Now that my task is complete, I must leave. I was never meant to stay in your story. Sobs choked my final words. Perhaps even I hadn't realized my secrets. My helplessness. This last desperate confession, they'd become my final gambit. Even in front of someone I like. I shouldn't be this defenseless. But according to the plot, I was supposed to exit the story already. Evelyn Johnson. Liam's voice came low, each syllable deliberate. As he approached me, his partially unbuttoned sleeve revealed a tattoo, a crescent moon followed by English script, the love of my life, ending with the initials of my name. My breath caught. Memories flooded back of how I'd once lied to Liam about getting his name tattooed while chasing him, when it was actually temporary ink. I'd always feared pain. Yet here he stood, bearing permanent markings of devotion. He closed the distance between us. You claim not to be my destined heroine. So what? I've already found my lifetime love. My eyes see no one else. Only you. His callous thumb wiped my tear as he cradled my face. Our gazes colliding. Fiery intensity burned in his eyes, consuming every fiber of my being until only his tattooed vow remained in my consciousness, the love of my life. Waking the next morning, my body ached with familiar tenderness. Liam appeared to have left already, groggily sitting up. I scanned the sunlit room. Drawn to the window, I froze at the sight across the wall, an enormous framed photo of me wearing my favorite white sundress, radiant with laughter. Turning abruptly, I discovered shelves lining the opposite wall, meticulously organized with books and photo albums. My fingers trembled as I opened the first album. A faded high school picture showed Liam in faded uniform exuding quiet dignity, while I clung to his arm in designer dress. All sunshine and privilege. The back read, "My girl. Forever 18. My heart clenched. Subsequent pages revealed me at track meets with ponytail flying, captioned her brightest moment. Every photo chronicled fragments of my life, each lovingly annotated. The final image stopped me cold, our recent charity gala encounter. My champagne flute tilted toward his whiskey glass. The inscription burned, "Our story continues." Footsteps echoed in the hallway. Ding dong, the doorbell snapped me back to reality. I thought it was Liam. But when I opened the door, Sophia stood there. "Eve. I knew you'd be here." She stormed in, eyes blazing. "You must be thrilled about ruining my engagement party. If I'm just the supporting character, why would he ever choose you?" Her voice cracked as tears welled up. "You've stolen 18 years of my life in this world. Why won't you just disappear?" Her gaze suddenly locked onto the photo album in my hands. She snatched it from me, tearing at the pages like a wild animal. "This is what you owe me, Eve. This is all your debt." I may be playing the villainess. I wrestled the album back. And I'm sorry about the identity switch. But that wasn't my choice. Tell me truthfully, were you ever truly deprived before returning to the Johnson family? Sophia lifted her chin defiantly. I don't remember. But I do. I stepped closer. Since childhood, half my allowance, sometimes more, went to you. Every gift I received got forwarded untouched because they rightfully belonged to you. When you needed schooling, I convinced our parents to enroll you in the best private academy. I even sent my own nanny to care for you. Other than the Johnson heiress title, you lacked nothing. Eve. Sophia's composure shattered. I never wanted your charity. Those things were mine by birthright. True. I acknowledged. But I fulfilled my role without harming you. We're both following scripted paths. Except the original story never included you manipulating our parents to disown me or hiring people to humiliate me. Color flooded Sophia's cheeks. So what if I took liberties? I needed to correct the storyline. I needed to make Liam love me. That's precisely when everything started unraveling. A familiar voice interjected. Liam walked in holding 2 steaming breakfast bags. Setting them down, he pulled me against his side and fixed Sophia with an icy stare. Still here? A desperate edge entered Sophia's voice. Have you forgotten how she deceived you? That permanent tattoo washed off. Those blessed bracelets were 3 for $10 PDD specials. Liam raised a silencing hand. You're rambling. As Sophia fled, Liam called after her retreating figure, do attend our wedding. Miss Miller. I whirled to face him. I never agreed to marry you. Then I'll wait until you do. His fingers gently tousled my hair. Sunlight glinted off the woven bracelet on his wrist, the very same 3 for $10 PDD special I'd gifted years ago. Pretending it held sacred blessings. The other 2 bracelets, well, that's another story. I kept one hair tie for myself and tied the other around my dog's neck with a golden lock. I've really nailed this villainous role, didn't waste a single penny on men. Not even the male lead. My heart raced as I stared at the floor. Liam. I tugged his sleeve. She wasn't lying about one thing, your bracelet really did come from an online bargain site, I know. Liam arched an eyebrow. So, how do you plan to make it up to me? My studio flourished. Gaining steady momentum, Dan decided to study abroad and take over his family business. Olivia became my new business partner. When Liam announced our engagement, the whole city buzzed with excitement. Everyone seemed thrilled, except Emma. Now in kindergarten, her little mind brimmed with opinions. One moment she'd snuggle in my arms. The next she'd bolt upon seeing Liam. I asked, Emma, are you scared of Daddy? She pouted. That uncle's mean. He said I'm ugly. I hate mean uncles. I smirked at Liam. Well, you're the one who upset your daughter. You fix it. Soon everyone witnessed the surreal sight, the stern, decisive CEO trailing after his preschooler like an apologetic shadow. Yet no amount of bribes swayed Emma's declaration. I won't forgive you that easy. The icy mechanical voice never returned after that day. The system seemed permanently offline. Yet this happiness felt fragile. The night before our wedding, I trembled in Liam's arms, the plots completely derailed. What if I vanish someday? Never. His arms tightened. Not ever. Sunlight streamed through stained glass as church bells chimed. My wedding gown shimmered under kaleidoscopic light. Liam stood transfixed at the altar, gaze burning into me as I approached. Emma scattered petals while Olivia, my maid of honor, tearfully placed my hand in Liam's. Beep, original plot deviation detected. Host may return to original world. The long-absent mechanical voice jolted me. Return? I shook my head. My birth parents died young, that cold orphanage held nothing. Here, I had Olivia's laughter, Emma's sticky hugs, Liam's steady warmth. Here, I belonged. Warning, non-canonical heroine. Narrative instability. The system short-circuited mid-sentence. Silence. Liam lowered his gaze and slowly slipped the ring onto my finger. Sunlight filtered through the window lattice, illuminating every joyful face in the room. Amidst the clamoring crowd, we exchanged our vows. "I do," I said. "Eve." Liam fixed his gaze on me. "The universe has existed for billions of years. In that vast timeline, a mere human lifespan is but a fleeting branch. Yet I'm desperate to know," he continued, voice trembling slightly. "Who could possibly deserve the privilege of sharing those decades with you? I love you." In his eyes, I saw countless falling stars streaking across the sky, shattering barriers, crashing into the core of my being. Behind the night curtain, fireworks exploded in dazzling colors. Yet none could rival the deafening rhythm of our synchronized heartbeats. Rising on my toes, I kissed the corner of his lips. "I love you too." The world roared with celebration around us. Roads ahead would twist and fracture, but our love would remain fiercely alive through endless cycles of seasons, untamed, blazing, weathering time itself. Across the immeasurable expanse of space and eternity, sharing this single planet and precious fragment of existence with you, this is my greatest cosmic fortune. Thank you all for the company. Your support fuels my passion for sharing these sweet romance stories. See you next time.